Will be? Very. But when I think about the motorcycle, if I don't, operate rightly, where does it go? What, that you can imagine that. So, in other words, we need God's power to live this life to be finished well. See, at some point of time, we all started our lives. But the homework and assignment from God is how we finish the race He has entrusted us to finish. God says, finish well. You know how many people in the Bible had finished their life well to please God? Not many people, surprisingly. They all started well. Like, when you became a Christian, you have passion for Christ. But as time goes by, without knowing that, you are drifting away from God little by little. And you don't think about God. Because what? I have everything. I am smart. I know how to operate my life. I don't need your help. Pride. So I want to take a look at today the book of Luke, chapter 22. This is the story that you all know of Peter. Okay? One of Jesus' disciples, Peter. Okay, Jesus told him, Matthew 16, Peter, I'm going to give you a big mission. Because Peter was the core member of Jesus' group. I'm going to make you champion. I'm going to make you a rock. Because I'm going to build some teamwork and beautiful things on you. That's what happened here. And he was so prideful to do all things passionately. But Jesus told him, right before he walked to the cross, he told Peter, you will deny me 3 times. And Peter says, no, no, no. You told me that I am the rock, I'm the champion. How can I deny you? But when we read this book, chapter 22, verse starting from 59, actually, someone recognized Peter, and he told Peter, this must be one of them because he's a Galilean too. But Peter said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. He was already denying himself. And immediately, while he was still speaking, the rooster crowed. At that moment, the Lord turned and looked at Peter. He didn't say a word to Peter. He was just looking at Peter. How many of you going through this kind of stage? Jesus is looking at you and me without saying anything for what we did. He didn't say anything. He was just looking at Peter. And then suddenly the Lord's words flashed through Peter's mind, verse 61. Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me. And Peter left the courtyard weeping bitterly. See, some of you may go through this moment today. Can you imagine that? I'm a failure. I'm hopeless. My life is not worthy to live. I cannot even please to God. Look at me. I have nothing. I am worthless. Only thing I say is the negative things, bitter words, harsh words, judge people, blame someone. The way I look at the world and people, there's nothing good about it. Are you in that situation right now? When I look around, I'm totally abandoned, isolated. No one cares for me. Can you imagine that Jesus is right next to you and looking at you? What would they think about you? Peter couldn't even turn his head and look at Jesus. I'm a total failure. I told Jesus, you told me that I'm the champion. But look at me now. I failed. I denied. See how many times we think in our lives. But is that all? That's why Jesus came to this world and died for us? You know what God told Paul? My grace is sufficient for you. It's enough. Instead of removing his thorn out of his body, I'm going to be with you and to live with you and go through all the storms and difficulties in our lives. That's his grace. God knows we fail. But is that all? You know, last year I had an accident. And look at other racers. In case they fell, they just gave up the race? No, I noticed that. They just got up again and finished the race. So either way, you want to try your best with the help of the God, help of the power of Holy Spirit, or you just give up. See, we need God's power in our lives. That's what we need, and to learn. So we can learn from Peter. When Jesus looked at the Peter, and Peter was the moment. It was a deep, heart-piercing moment. But what he did, it's like a resentment, guilt, the emotionally disturbed moment I think he had. That's why he went out and he wept bitterly. So, the lesson we can learn from Peter is, learn from your mistake. Learn from your failure. See, number one, be responsible for the mistake I make. This is the God's principle. Whether you read the Bible, whether you know the Bible, doesn't matter. In this world, whatever you're going to plant, you're going to reap. It's going to return to you. That's a natural law. So we need to be accountable and responsible for what I did and even what I said. How many times we denied ourselves for what I did and what we said? Hey, I didn't say that. I don't know. That's a very convenient word, I think. I don't know. That's it. 뭐 부수다? I don't know. Number two, you need to confess your sin and be forgiven. Think about Peter's situations. It was a heartache and deep, heart-piercing moment he had. But he didn't give up. Because why? He humbled himself, and his attitude is, I need to learn more from my master. I need his help. Because it's already proved. I cannot live my life with my own strength. The way we do everything in this world, it's my own skill and strength and knowledge. Whatever the resources we have, we use. But life is not going the way we plan. That's the problem. We plan from 1 to 10, but everything goes well. How many of you think that everything is going well? I'm sailing well, no storm, beautiful weather. Nothing can bother me because I'm so powerful, I'm a Superman. That kind of attitude Peter was. But as soon as the rooster crowed, the flashback, what Jesus told him, you will deny me 3 times. It hit his heart. So we need to be responsible for what I want to do and what I did, the action and the word. If you make mistake, you need to acknowledge that, admit that. Okay, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. That's it. But what is our tendency? We want to deny ourselves, guard ourselves. No. Well, to you it's a mistake, to me it's not. I did the right things. What's wrong with you? So that is today's life. What is right is not right anymore. What is wrong is not wrong. So we are very confused. That's why you need to come to the Bible and read it and communicate with God. And then Holy Spirit within you will let you know what is the truth. So that we won't be shaken to the left or right. I can walk straight path God has given us, God has shown us. That's the only way. Think about that. Who's going to mention and talk about God outside? You talk about God at your work, in the school, in your family. The only chance, only opportunity you have is when you come to church. You could hear. You could think about God. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, God. I've been so far away from you. I want to come back. Help me.